What is up everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we are back checking out Bitcoin, and we're going to be going through exactly what I think it can be doing over the next week or so. It's been pumping a lot this week as we sort of predicted in the previous Bitcoin videos, and I've been touching on Bitcoin also in a few of the altcoin videos. But let's jump straight in, and on the daily here you can see we have had a very clean break of this resistance level. Now, we previously have not had such a clean break where the pump is actually continued. However, here you can see we're obviously now trading in the range of this huge order block that we have here, also seen on the weekly, and we really need to close the weekly chart on Monday, so in roughly 2 days, above this resistance level. And if we are able to, then obviously the next candle will most likely be a bearish one, and we will see some sort of a downside just as we come back down to even out sort of this move. But overall, I think it will be a bullish move for Bitcoin, especially in the next month or so. And if some sort of miracle happens and we are able to in the next 2 days really pump through and close above this massive order block, then that will be extremely bullish also. However, we have two heat maps to go over. So first we have the 1 week heat map. Now I'll zoom in a bit, and you can essentially see here that there's not many liquidations. We did have a few liquidations up high right here, which we cleared through, and now there really isn't many. There isn't much building up below, and there really isn't a lot building up high. We have a few here, but it's nothing major yet, as we'll show you on the monthly chart. And overall, I mean, it's quite clean growth to the upside. We have had a bit of chop here and some chop here, but apart from that, the growth has been quite okay. It's been quite clean. We haven't had any major liquidations. We have obviously a few building up just as more people are entering longs. However, the market is still quite uncertain whether this is a bullish pump or whether it's just a fake pump and we're going to continue dumping. I know a lot of people have been saying that this is a fake pump. However, it's too early to tell, and there's no point in really trying to predict those things. We may as well just act on the information that we have right now. But on the monthly chart, you see here we have actually a lot of liquidation at one area in specific, and that's just prior to the pump. So on the 11th of October, we actually started compiling all of these liquidations right here. Now, this is around over $200 million worth of liquidations, and the move up is so drastic. These liquidations might just evaporate, which does happen quite a bit also, similar to how you see them build up, where they start quite small and get bigger and bigger and bigger. They also have the possibility to evaporate, as liquidations are simply mass orders in the market that haven't been closed yet, and this is their liquidation price. So obviously this would be the liquidation of a lot of longs that have probably entered on these lows, or even the highs, and they haven't closed their positions yet. However, if they do deem this profit enough, then they will close, and you'll slowly start to see these liquidations evaporate. Now, that's a very possible scenario. We also see here a few liquidations building up. So one thing that may happen is obviously we get a little dump, but overall should start to build back up. However, these liquidations are a bit scary, as it's quite a large move down. It's like a 10% crash, which Bitcoin has seen quite a lot of this year and in previous years also. 10% pumps and 10% dumps in consecutive days, and that's something that could happen. So I wouldn't count it out, but I'd definitely be watching the liquidation charts on the 1 month chart, especially to see whether this level does evaporate or whether it stays there, as it's very unlikely that it stays there and we don't come down to it. So that's one key thing to watch. Now, another thing we need to cover is Bitcoin to Bitcoin dominance. So on the left we have Bitcoin, on the right we have Bitcoin dominance, and this is a key chart for altcoins. Now, we have Bitcoin dominance finally starting to fall. Obviously altcoins are down slightly as Bitcoin is down, but overall altcoins are not down 5-10% as they usually are, and that's because Bitcoin dominance is slowly starting to come down. Now, if I zoom out of it, you'll see Bitcoin dominance actually on the daily is just in an insane uptrend. We need Bitcoin dominance to essentially clear all of the lows and start to enter into a downtrend, as when that happens, altcoins will really start to do well. Now, yes, that might slightly take away from the Bitcoin pump, as more people will be putting money into altcoins rather than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin outflow will go up, the inflow will go down. However, it will overall be bullish for the market, as more publicity and more people will be finding out and putting money into Bitcoin, and it's sort of a ripple effect. So if Bitcoin dominance can slightly fall, then that will be good, and if Bitcoin is able to rise, then that will be majorly good for altcoins. You'll see 5, 10, 15, 20% pumps in singular days, which is what we really want to see, of course, if you're not shorting and you're long or you've bought spot positions. Now, the S&P is also another good indicator for Bitcoin. they usually follow each other quite well. So now the S&P is obviously at a new all-time high. We have the Nasdaq, which is literally inches away from a new all-time high, and the Dow Jones, which is, you know, absolutely soaring. So I like to use the S&P index mostly because it's one of the most popular, and the S&P has just been absolutely performing phenomenally. You know, it's come down, tapped above the previous resistance and all-time high, and since then it's just continued up. Now, yes, that does mean we will eventually have to come down and find some support areas, but for now, this is a relatively healthy move up, and that is allowing Bitcoin to also see this healthy move up. Whilst it's not at an all-time high yet, it is slowly getting there. So that's what I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching for a candle close of this weekly candle above this resistance. If we're really lucky, then we'll get a close above this resistance, something like this. However, next week I wouldn't expect, you know, a major pump. Like, times where we get these two major large candles is quite rare, and it's even rarer when we get it straight after a resistance break. However, if there's some catalyst or some news that comes out, then that is very, very likely. Another key catalyst that will be coming out next month will be the presidential election, and obviously the US is one of the biggest countries in the world, and it's the one that's investing the most money into crypto and the stock market and so on and so forth. And so if the elected candidate is very, very pro crypto, then obviously the crypto market will pump. However, you know, if we just get a normal close, then we will see a red candle, something like this, probably come down slightly before reversing back up if the move is in fact bullish. But again, I wouldn't discount the slightly red candle down before we see any sort of move up. Now, if you do want to be getting trades every single day, then check out the Discord down below. We have a ton of education and a ton of trades being sent out every single day. If you need a place to buy, sell, or trade Bitcoin, check out the exchanges we're working with down below. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye, guys.